with YouTubers and producing YouTube channels for almost 10 years. And I've seen it all. Creators with 0 subscribers all the way to millions. Every single type of situation, every type of person, every type of dream, every type of goal, every type of everything. And I'm hoping that by sharing these 10 things to think about and consider before starting a YouTube channel, if that's you, someone who's thinking about getting onto YouTube, then this video will give you insights that so many people, including myself, wish that they had when they first started. And I want to tell you something. It is still completely possible to build a career and make a lot of money on YouTube. In fact, now more than ever, I am seeing business owners and entrepreneurs finally waking up to the fact that YouTube is this hidden gem of a platform they haven't been taking advantage of. But that is changing in 2026 with the fatigue of short form video, which I did a whole video on, so you're gonna wanna check that out. I am seeing now more than ever people coming on to YouTube. So if you're ready to go into this with your eyes wide open, understanding what it really takes to grow on YouTube, then let's dive in. Class is in session. If you are creating content anywhere, you need to start with YouTube. Don't save it for later. I believe this in the bottom of my heart. This is a hill that I will die on. I love YouTube. I've been working as a YouTube producer and strategist for almost 10 years. I know firsthand the opportunity that comes with a very successful YouTube channel. Don't waste your time on the other platforms, come to YouTube. But I am biased, and I am putting my biases out there for you to know. And I know what you might be thinking. You're probably thinking, I'm just gonna get started on Instagram first, or TikTok first, or I'm gonna do a podcast first. Just get comfortable, get in front of the camera a little bit, and then move on to YouTube. Or maybe you're thinking like, okay, I'll start that podcast, and then I'll repurpose those podcast episodes onto YouTube. Don't do that. Please don't do that. Do not do that. That's totally backwards. If you're gonna create content at all, YouTube needs to be where you start, not where you dump your leftovers. But I do know what happens when you succeed in YouTube. And you don't have to get millions of subscribers, or even hundreds of thousands of subscribers to make 6 and 7 figures. I've seen the life-changing impact of a successful YouTube channel. YouTube content works for you for years. I call it the perpetual profit pipeline. Instagram, I mean, your content is dead in what, 48, 72 hours if you're lucky? TikTok, maybe a week? Podcasts, I mean, there's not even like a search engine associated with that. How do you even get discovered on podcasts anymore? But YouTube, I have clients making money from videos they uploaded 12, 14, 15 years ago. Videos that suddenly get picked up by the algorithm like years later. I want you to think of a content pyramid. YouTube is at the top. Everything else flows from it. You can take your YouTube content and repurpose it to Instagram, TikTok, your podcast if you want to, but not the other way around. It never works to repurpose things and put them onto YouTube. I see too many people treat, and especially business owners, so if you're a business owner and you're guilty of this, let me know in the comments, but I've seen too many people treat YouTube like a dumping ground for content. They'll take their podcast, slap it on YouTube with a static image and wonder why nobody's watching it. Or maybe they repurpose their Instagram reels as shorts and expect the same results. Don't do it. Please don't do it. If you're going to invest time in creating content, invest it in where it will pay you back for years, not just days. If YouTube isn't going to be your #1 platform, don't bother doing it. You'll be wasting your time. Here's the other thing that you're going to want to know about that probably nobody's telling you. Don't even think about shorts when you're starting out. And I know that shorts seem easier, faster, less intimidating, and you're thinking, okay, I'm just going to do shorts. I'm going to repurpose my Instagram to shorts, or my TikToks to shorts, or I'm just gonna create short form and just get comfortable. Hear me out on why I don't think that's a good idea. Shorts and long form are completely different algorithms with completely different audiences. And here is what people don't usually say. Short viewers almost never convert to long form subscribers. I've seen the data across the hundreds of channels that I produce. And while shorts can get you views and visibility, it rarely, and I mean rarely, leads to any meaningful income at all. If vanity metrics is what you're aiming for, then fine. Throw those TikToks and Instagram onto YouTube as shorts. But if you really, really want to make money, that's not the right way to do it. Unless you're already really, really successful on TikTok or Instagram and you're just cross-posting content that's already working for you on a platform that's already paying you, and you're possibly getting sponsors on those shorts on YouTube, it's like, okay, hey, if I put it on YouTube, will you pay me to do it? Yes, then great. That's probably one of the only reasons to do it as a beginner. Otherwise, don't waste your time. Do not create shorts on YouTube. If you're gonna create anything at all, put it towards what actually builds income, and that is long form content. Your energy is limited, especially when you're starting. The viewer on long form video is so much more engaged and more likely to purchase whatever you're selling, whether it's your own products or services, or through affiliate income or sponsorships. And you can always add shorts later on. I have clients that do that. We're very intentional about the way that we do it. But if you start with shorts, you will build the wrong audience. Say you grew a channel to like 50,000 subscribers, even 10,000 subscribers with just shorts, you're gonna have a bunch of people who only watch 60-second videos. And when you finally do try to do long form, they're not gonna watch it. Before you film anything, you need to know who you're talking to. And I don't mean like something generic like women 25 to 40 interested in fitness. That's not enough anymore. You need to understand your viewers' psychographics, their values, their fears, their secret desires, their beliefs. So I'm gonna give you an example of somebody that I've worked with. One of my students in my YouTube bootcamp thought her audience was pregnant women, right? It's like, okay, these are the type of people that watch. They're women that are pregnant, trying to get pregnant, all that. Her true audience were health conscious, first-time moms who were anxious about medical interventions and wanted a more holistic approach to birth. You see the difference? That specificity changed everything for her. Her views went from getting a few hundred to consistently getting several thousand per video. Now, another example is women who want to lose weight versus busy professional women over 40 who are intimidated by gym culture and believe that their metabolism is permanently damaged. So when you speak to a specific pain point, you're not limiting your audience. You're actually attracting more people with similar challenges who feel that you're speaking directly to them. Before you start your YouTube channel, I want you to spend time figuring out what keeps my viewer up late at night? What are they secretly afraid of? What do they desperately want but think is impossible for them? If you skip this step on really understanding the intrinsic motivations of your true fan, you'll create content that doesn't really resonate with anybody, really. It'll fall a little bit flat. It won't get that same traction as someone who can really understand who their viewer is from the inside out. This is part of my signature YouTube brand blueprint. This is step 3 of my blueprint. And if you want to know all 4 steps of that blueprint, I am teaching a live class where I go through all of it, and by the end of it, you will have your brand blueprint for your YouTube channel. So I'll put the links in the description below. Number 4, you need to pick the right niche from the start, because fixing this later can be very, 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 very painful. Here's something nobody tells you. I'd say about half, this is from my own experience, no, this is not a hard or fast rule, but half of creators on YouTube that are consistently posting on YouTube are in the wrong niche and they don't even know it. And fixing niche misalignment after you've built an audience, it is brutal. I've seen it destroy creators. Before you start, you need to get this part right. And I did a whole video on this, so you're gonna wanna go check that out. But the perfect niche sits at the intersection of 4 things: what you're passionate about, or at least passionate enough about, what you're good at, what audiences actually want, the demand, and what you can get paid for. All 4 of those circles must overlap. And I want to warn you, don't just pick what you're most passionate about. I see a lot of people do that if there's not really an audience demand or if you're not really that good at it. I've seen people start channels about topics that they love and nobody watches it because they're maybe not that good at it, or maybe it's because nobody cares. It's very, very important that all 4 of those intersect. Another example is don't pick something just because it's trending if you're not genuinely interested in it. Maybe it's trending and it's what you do for work and you have knowledge in it, but you really don't have any passion for it. You know what'll happen? You'll burn out in about 6 months. I'm gonna give you a couple examples here. I had a client who was a financial advisor. Everyone told her to do finance content on YouTube. It made sense. That's actually why she even contacted me and got onto YouTube in the first place. But she was super, super passionate about fitness over 40. So we went with fitness and she ended up doing really well. Why? Because she could talk about it for hours without getting tired. She was genuinely excited and she had a great business opportunity around it. So she actually had come up with a business plan around how she would monetize this fitness channel. It wasn't just her uploading fitness content. She was able to make money on that fitness program right away. So now I had another client who loved beauty content, but in real life, she was an exotic pet trainer. She loved beauty. She was passionate about beauty. She actually was good at beauty. She realized that in going through this niche process that I have, she was able to stand out and see more success and going into this niche of exotic pets. She was unique and ultimately she blew up. Getting your niche right is probably the most important decision that you're gonna make when starting on YouTube. So it's really, really important to get this right from the start. All right, number 5, you need to know and accept right now that growing a YouTube channel is going to take a lot longer than you think. Okay, just know that right off the bat. If you're starting a YouTube channel expecting quick results or even results within a month or 2 2 months. I need to be honest with you, that is not how this works. YouTube is a long form, long game platform. Almost anybody that you meet that has seen some success on YouTube, they've been at this game for a long time. Patience is one of the biggest character traits that I see that separates successful channels from people that end up failing. After 10 years of doing this and producing YouTube channels, I can basically predict that who will succeed and who will quit based upon this specifically. The people that make it are the ones that understand and realize that YouTube is a marathon and not a sprint. Here's what you should expect, and I call it the garden growth timeline. There's that first phase, which is the planting phase. This is your first 0 to 30 videos. You're putting a ton of work with not a lot of results, okay? You just need to know that. Like 30 videos, like that's about right. You're building the skills, you're testing different approaches, you're figuring out what works for you. You're trying to understand like intuitively what you enjoy doing. That's really, really important. What do you want to be doing on YouTube? It feels like nothing's happening, but with every video that you create in this first early phase, it is. That knowledge that you're gaining is invaluable. You can't expect to come onto YouTube and be an expert at it. You just can't expect that. Now, this is the next phase, which I call early growth. This is videos 30 to 60. You start seeing some sprouts, like from all of that hard work, right? Remember the garden, we're in a garden analogy here. So some videos are starting to perform better than others, some aren't, but these videos that are starting to perform are now giving you some insight into what your audience responds to. Now we're starting to build a little bit more momentum. You're actually starting to see a little bit of a garden. Mature growth. This is like 60 plus videos. If you're uploading once a week, this is like a year into it. If you're uploading twice a week, it's a little bit more than half a year into it. This is where that consistency starts to compound. Your skills have really improved. You understand your audience a lot more. Your audience knows who you are. You start to have a little bit of authority on YouTube, and YouTube's algorithm now has the data to know who to show your content to. You actually have that momentum behind you and that steam behind you that in some ways you don't have to try so hard as you do at the beginning. You still have to try, but you've already created some form of loyalty with a group of people that are now following you. A lot of people, I have to say, quit before that 30 videos is up. Like I said, that's the first phase. That's 0 to 30 because they're impatient. They think this isn't working for me. I'm not seeing the growth. Everybody else is seeing growth. And yes, there are those unicorns out there that blow up in the first 5 videos, 10 videos. It happens. But do you know what also happens? Those people are usually the ones coming to me at video 30, 35, 40 and saying, why is nobody watching my videos anymore? I blew up and now nobody's watching my videos. To be honest, I don't really know what I'm doing. I don't understand YouTube. I got lucky at the beginning and now essentially they almost have to start over. I do see most people not get past that 30 video mark. But if you already passed 30 videos, good for you. Let me know in the comments if that's you. I want to tell you about one of my clients, Kelsey Rose. She actually uploaded 37 long form videos before she saw any momentum whatsoever. 37, that's a pretty good amount. We worked together from day one. She hired me to launch her channel. Every video she put out was good. We were doing all the right things. And even with me on her side, her editor, thumbnail designer, all those things, it still took her 37 videos. Now imagine not having any of those resources. If you're trying to do this on your own, you can expect it to take some time. It takes a while to get that growth on YouTube. If you want a shortcut, check out my links below to work with me one-on-one or in my YouTube bootcamp to help you get that garden growth timeline a lot faster for you. Now, Kelsey, she consistently gets thousands of views per video. Some even hit 50,000 or more. Whereas for those first 40 videos, we were lucky to get 500 views. If she would have quit at video 20, which was like, because she was uploading one video a week, so that's like month 3 or 4, which a lot of people quit, she would have missed all of that. She's now at almost 40-something thousand subscribers and is getting brand deals, is generating leads for her app. That was her goal for YouTube to begin with, and it's coming to fruition right now. I want you to think about college. You pay for 4 years of education before you actually have a career. YouTube might not take 2 to 4 years to get going, but you're not also paying for a college education. You're actually starting to make money along the way, almost like an internship. Anytime you're learning anything new, it's going to take time, and it's unreasonable to think that you're going to be good at it right away. Give yourself the time, give yourself the grace, give yourself that ability to do it long enough in order to see some results. Before you start YouTube, you want to ask yourself, am I willing to commit to at least 30 minimum? I would say 50, but at least 30 long form videos before I judge whether or not YouTube is working. If you can't commit to that, then honestly, don't even bother starting because you're just gonna waste your time and end up frustrated. That is my whole goal, is I never want anybody wasting their time. There's too much energy and effort that is involved with you doing things that are not gonna move you towards the finish line. And there's so much opportunity for YouTube that I need to make it very, very clear what's at stake here and what you need to do to get there. But if you are serious about YouTube, your future self will thank you for the patience that you have today. Take me, for example. I started over on a brand new YouTube channel right here. I have created, at this point, less than 20 videos on this channel. I realize at this point, I might only get a couple hundred views, if that. And I'm okay with that right now. I understand that this is a long game. What I'm doing is I'm doing everything possible to put my best foot out there, my best content, my best thumbnails, my best packaging for this. And what I do know is that with consistency, with strategy and persistence, it will happen for me. It might not happen in the first 3 months or even 6 months. I hope so. And I'm doing everything in my power to make it happen. But I do know if I'm doing everything right, I will get there one day. And that is the attitude that you need to have for yourself as well. Now, number 6, if you are a perfectionist, you need to deal with that before you start on YouTube. So I'm gonna be very, very, very honest here. Perfectionism will kill your channel before it even begins. Elizabeth Gilbert, she's the author of Eat, Pray, Love, and Big Magic. She says that perfectionism is fear and high heels. It's like fancy, it's fancy fear.
I always say that perfectionism is just fear and high heels and a mink coat, pretending to be fancy, like, oh, hello,
I see perfectionism destroy talented women on YouTube all the time. Here's a real example. One of my clients came to me after spending 2 years preparing to launch her channel. She bought all the equipment. She planned out her first 50 videos. She had watched every single YouTube tutorial out there. I was like the 3rd YouTube coach she had gone to or like program that she enrolled in. So how many videos did she actually publish? 0. 0, because it wasn't perfect. I was glad that she came to me because I was able to whip her into shape. And I'm happy to say that she's at her, I think at this point, like 20 or 25th video. And that's a huge achievement for someone like her with that problem, with that perfectionist problem. I have another client that spends weeks perfecting one video. And it goes live. It doesn't perform well because not all videos on YouTube perform well. It's just the nature of the beast. And she's crushed. So whenever a video is like, she's sending me like a screenshot, she's like, it's 5 out of 10, 6 out of 10. Even though many of those videos do take off later on. Like we'll see him blow up later on. It just takes her a while to recover emotionally from a video that doesn't do well. And it takes her so long to upload because she's so afraid that it's not perfect and it's not gonna be a 1 out of 10. But here's what you need to understand before you start. YouTube rewards rapid iteration over perfectionism. You need to be willing to publish good enough content and learn as you go. Oftentimes those good enough content are those videos that do really well, are those videos that become evergreen videos and take off months later, years later. Your first 20 to 30 videos, they're going to be rough. That's okay. We know that. That's part of the process. You're learning. You're a YouTube newbie. It's like your freshman year of college. It's that internship. Don't put so much pressure on yourself. I teach something called the MOVE framework. Now, here's what that means. M, move past attachment to individual videos. One video doesn't make or break your channel. Okay? O, optimize based on audience response, not your personal feelings about the video. V is a volume of content for the algorithm. YouTube needs that data, that content, that consistency to really understand who your audience is. It also needs it so it has something to serve your audience to, something fresh, something new. And doing that will actually help you get more of your older videos out there. E is for emotionally detached. You have to detach emotionally from the fact that you might have spent 40 hours on a video. I don't necessarily want you to do that, but that's what I'm saying. You have to detach from the effort that's invested. Because just because you spent 20 hours, 10 hours, 40 hours, it doesn't mean that it actually deserves more views. Before you start, you want to make this commitment. I will publish consistently even when the videos aren't perfect. If you can't do that, like really be honest with yourself. If you can't do that, you need to work on that perfectionism, because it's the one thing that I see that is holding so many women back on YouTube. Done is better than perfect, but only if you actually get to doing it and get it done. Number 7 is that you need to decide right now if you are willing to invest in yourself. Here's the reality, ladies. YouTube will require some level of investment, whether it's time, money, or both. And you really need to decide before you start, are you willing to make those sacrifices. A lot of people, they just don't want to spend money or they don't want to take extra time, but they want to make it work and they want to make it happen. And they're wondering why it's not. And I'm not just talking about buying expensive equipment. You can start with your phone. And I've seen people build 6-figure channels filming on an iPhone. It is possible. It depends on the niche though. It definitely depends on the niche, but that's possible. I'm talking more about strategic investments. And obviously I'm biased because this is what I do. And I see how effective working with me as a coach, as a producer, as a strategist has been for so many of the women that have worked with me who were trying to figure it out on their own and realize by setting aside some money and working with a strategist, how much farther they got in such a shorter amount of time. Or maybe it's an editor, so you can focus on creating content instead of spending 10 hours editing. Maybe it's a thumbnail designer. Maybe it's just your time. Maybe it's waking up earlier, staying up late, dedicating weekends, paying for a sitter to watch your child. The real talk is you're gonna spend money either way. You're spending money. Dinners out, new clothes, makeup at Sephora, wine nights with friends. So you can spend it on things like that, which we all like to do. We all enjoy doing it. But you can also spend money on things that get you closer to your dreams. And in this case with YouTube, that can get you closer to your dreams of getting that next level income stream. This is something that an investment that actually can pay you back. Think about it. If you pay $50,000 a year for college these days, that's not unheard of. That's kind of what it costs. But you won't invest a couple $1,000s in learning YouTube. It doesn't make sense. You enroll your kids in sports or music. I can't tell you the amount of money I spend on my kids' gymnastics. It is insane. You're trying to figure out YouTube alone. I even sometimes have to remind myself, no, I need to pay for coaching. And I pay for coaching all the time on doing what I do and having an online business, on being an online coach. Truly believe in it. When I first started my YouTube bootcamp back in 2018, I opened up a zero interest credit card and invested $3,500 in an online business course to teach me on having an online business. Was that scary? Yes. Was I making any money from my course at the time? No. But that investment, it led to multiple 7 figures in revenue. It changed my life. Just me making that decision and putting money down on my dream and my goals, it changed the trajectory for me forever. It transformed my entire business. Before you start YouTube, you want to ask yourself, what am I willing to sacrifice for the next 6 to 12 months to make this work? Maybe it's no dinners out for 3 months. Maybe it's skipping that bougie vacation this year or not so bougie vacation. Maybe it's saying no to social events so that you can film on the weekends. Whatever it is, you need to decide, what am I going to sacrifice to make YouTube work for me? Because I'm telling you, the people that make it, the people that make 6 and 7 figures, they're willing to sacrifice time, money, and energy so they can make that money, they can be successful. And the creators who succeed are the ones who bet on themselves. If they're not willing to invest, then you're not really serious about this. And that's okay. You don't have to be. You can say, I just want YouTube to be a hobby. Great. Then just make it a hobby. But don't turn around and say, I want to quit my job for YouTube. And you're just trying to figure this out on your own, a platform that really is not for the faint of heart and not like uploading a photo of yourself. It's baffling to me. I'm very passionate about that. That's another hill I'll die on, that in any area of business, online, in person, investing in people that know more than you do is definitely the fastest path to success. All right, number 8 is you need to understand that the algorithm is your friend. It's not your enemy. Your audience is your focus. So I want you to shift your mindset about something. When everyone talks about the algorithm, like it's this mysterious thing that's trying to suppress your content, or the algorithm doesn't like me, or I don't understand the algorithm, YouTube is out to get you, that is not what's happening at all. Here's what I want you to know. The algorithm follows the behavior and signs of what the audience does. YouTube themselves have come out to say this repeatedly. Whenever you think algorithm, replace it with the word audience. The algorithm is just a sophisticated AI processing of what real people are doing, what they're watching, what they're clicking, how they're engaging with every single video that they watch. All of that is data helping YouTube understand what people want. Your job isn't to game the system or figure out the algorithm. Your job is to serve the people that you can help with your content. Before you create that first video, I want you to ask yourself, what does my audience, my specific audience, what do they really want to know? What problem can I solve for them? What questions keep them up at night? What do they need help with? Not will I get the views? Will this go viral? Am I going to make money from it? But will my content and what I want to create, will it genuinely help people? When you serve your audience well, that's when the algorithm follows. I have seen people that come into my programs that are obsessing over the SEO, they're obsessing over the hacks, they're obsessing over beating the algorithm, and then lo and behold, their videos don't do great because they're prioritizing making money and going viral before actually helping people and serving people. I always tell people, don't think about the numbers or the virality. Really think about what gets you motivated, what gets you excited to film, what do you think is going to really, really help people? And that's when you will actually start to see results on your YouTube channel. You can't go from trying to hack the algorithm and figure it out. You just need to focus on serving your audience. Because when an audience can feel that you're excited about something, and when you are hitting on a topic that they want to watch, that's when you start to see results. Start with this mindset. I'm creating for people, not the algorithm. The algorithm is not your enemy. It is actually your friend. It wants to show your content to people who will love it. You just have to make really, really good content and think about first how you're going to serve your audience. Number 9, you need to understand what you're actually building. I call it your perpetual profit pipeline. Before you start, I want you to understand like truly how amazing YouTube actually is, because I know a lot of this stuff can be a little bit scary and I'm giving you all these warnings and like this is what you need to do, but it's all for a good reason. It's all to leverage the amazing long-term potential that you can have through YouTube, because it's not just another social media platform. It is a long-term income asset, and that is what you're building with every single video that you upload onto YouTube. I call it the perpetual profit pipeline, and it is a reason why I love YouTube so much, why I think it is better than any other platform out there. If you have any kind of a business, a service, or product, or anything at all that you're selling, you need to be on YouTube. So here's what that I mean by the perpetual profit pipeline. Try to say that 10 times fast. The videos that you upload today can pay you for months or years. I always say that being on social media, Instagram or TikTok, is like earning a paycheck, right? You have to keep uploading just to make money. But with YouTube, it's like the stock market. You invest on it once and you continue making money from it again and again and again. Because I have clients and students making money from videos that they uploaded a year ago, 5 years ago, 10 years ago, videos that they uploaded maybe 6 months ago that all of a sudden get picked up by the algorithm again and generate more income. There's 4 major ways to make money on YouTube. And I go into detail in that in my video here on how to make money in 2026 on YouTube. So you're going to want to check that out. But the 4 ways is AdSense, brand deals, affiliates, and your own products or services. I'm going to give you an example with one of my own clients, Katie Ferraro. Now, she teaches parents how to feed their 6-month to 12-month-old babies, basically how to introduce solids. She has told me that she makes more money from her 20,000 YouTube subscribers than her over 500,000 Instagram followers and her podcast, which is the #1 in its space combined. Why? Because of that perpetual profit pipeline. YouTube content keeps working for you. Before you start your YouTube channel, I want you to really understand this. You're not just creating content. It's not just a social media platform. You are building an asset. Every single video is an investment in your future. And this is why I tell people, if you're gonna spend any time whatsoever creating content, do it on YouTube, because you're building something that will pay you back for years, but only if you approach it with that mindset from day one and apply all the things that I'm telling you in this video, including the next point, which is you need to commit to approaching your YouTube channel very intentionally, not something you hobby your way through or have it as a checkbox on your business to-do list. This is the most important thing that I can tell you before you start. You cannot half-ass YouTube and expect full results. The creators who succeed on YouTube are the ones who decide to go all in. You don't have to decide at the beginning to go all in. Sometimes at the beginning you just want to dabble, and I totally get it. Kind of get in there, get your feet warm. But at some point, if you're really, really serious about YouTube and you really, really, really want to make YouTube work for you, you do have to commit to it. One of my bootcamp students said that it was not until she decided to do YouTube intentionally, and keep in mind, this is something that had been on YouTube for about like 2 or 3 years prior. She said it wasn't until she decided to do YouTube intentionally is when everything changed for her on the platform. She finally hit monetization, and finally her views started to take off. And then I had another student tell me that I was doing all the work, I was checking it off my checkbox. So she had a very, very successful online program, but she's like, I wasn't intentional about it. She was like, no wonder I was stuck on YouTube for years. I was like uploading sporadically, I was repurposing podcast episodes, I was doing some videos for YouTube, some shorts, I was going through the motions and saying, okay, I uploaded my YouTube video. But she said the moment she decided that she was gonna go all in on YouTube, be intentional, that's actually when she enrolled in my program, everything shifted for her. So before you start your YouTube channel, you need to ask yourself, Am I willing at some point, maybe not right now at the beginning, but am I willing at some point to make YouTube a priority? Not something that you fit in, or not something that where you repurpose your podcast or Instagram content and hope for the best, but a priority for at least 6 to 12 months. So what exactly does that look like? It looks like planning your content strategically, not just filming whenever you feel like it. And then it comes with actually thinking about what your audience wants, understanding your audience deeply. It comes with everything that I've talked about in this video. Doing your work to understand your audience, knowing their fears, their desires, their pain points, committing to being consistent, at least 1 long form video a week, 2 if possible, making sacrifices, time, money, social events. Maybe that means waking up at 5 a.m. every single day before you go to work. Maybe it means staying up late to edit. Maybe it means dedicating every single Saturday to your YouTube channel. It doesn't mean burnout though. It means doing this for a season, being strategic about where your energy goes for a season until you can get things to really get moving. Because YouTube is very much like a hockey stick effect. You do have to put a lot of that work in, but eventually it's take off and lift off. Then you'll start to see the momentum. But you do have to put in a lot of work and energy and intention to get to that point. I see too many people treat YouTube as an afterthought. They record their podcast and think, okay, I'm gonna put it on YouTube too. They step it up on YouTube, no strategy, no optimization, no thought about the thumbnail. And then they wonder like, why isn't it working? Before you start your YouTube channel, make this decision. For the next 6 to 12 months, YouTube is going to be my top priority in my life. And if you can't commit to that, then fine. But know that you are going to have to commit to that at some point, because dabbling on YouTube, it's just going to waste your time. And I don't want you to waste your time. Nobody wants that. You're better off spending time doing something else if you're really just going to dabble and not take it seriously. Those are the 10 things that you need to consider before starting a YouTube channel in 2026. Whew, we went through a lot. And I'm not sharing these things to scare you off from YouTube. I'm sharing it so that I want you to go into this with your eyes wide open. I see too many people get these false promises from ads and YouTube channels and coaches and all these people about, oh, you can have a YouTube channel and like not even show your face for 2 hours a week and make $100,000 a month. It's all BS. Yes, there might be some people out there doing it, but the vast majority, I can tell you, are not. I want you to understand what it really, really takes to be really, really successful. I want you to understand what it takes to be those people that you're watching on YouTube right now that are seeing success on YouTube and what they're actually doing, because that's what you need to be doing to see the success on YouTube that you want. I know this after working over 10 years with thousands of women, what it really takes to succeed. And YouTube can absolutely, positively change your life. And I've seen women go from 0 to 6 figures in less than a year. I've seen stay-at-home moms build empires. I've seen business owners 10x their leads. I've seen people create amazing financial freedom that they never even thought possible. That is why I'm so obsessed with YouTube, because I know what is possible. So I want you to learn the lessons that I learned and that they all learned before you even get started. To start with intentions, have the patience and the right mindset. So the question is, are you ready for YouTube? Is this something that you want to do? If you already started YouTube, are these things that you wish you knew before? What are some of the lessons that you've learned as a YouTube creator? If you're serious about your YouTube channel, I definitely have some resources to help you. Obviously, I have a bunch more videos here on this channel that you can check out. I also have a free live class where I dive deep into my signature YouTube strategy, which is called the YouTube Brand Blueprint. I also have my YouTube Bootcamp where I personally coach women creators, like all the women I've talked about in this video, and those links are in the description below. But up next, make sure you watch this video on making sure that you get your YouTube niche right. Until next time, keep shining, keep creating, and most importantly, keep being you. And if you made it all the way to the end, make sure you subscribe.